A lot of matches to look back on between these two. It's 15-11 to Trump overall. Robertson's last win over him in a ranking event was that UK Championship final that finished in the wee small hours, 10-9, back in 2020. But, of course, he made 4 centuries yesterday, Robertson. He's scoring well. He only won 5-4, that said, against Hamad Mir, but he has got his scoring boots on. Trump, of course, it's almost a surprise if you don't see him in the back end of tournaments these days. So this could be a bit of a thriller. Let's hope so for this crowd. NEiL Folds is with me. He's got to be said, NEiL, when they played in the UK Championship, Robertson was not sort of at the races, but maybe playing a bit better here.
Yeah, good to see him back playing well again. You know, he had to, like you say, combine big break making yesterday with a little bit of grafting as well against Hamad Mir, who is a very dangerous player, who's in the sort of bottom reaches of the ranking list. As far as Judd Trump is concerned, I was on commentary of his match with Joe O'Connor. I thought he played very well in that one. He did play well. He was very efficient. But he's made an early mistake there. It's a real classic. You know, we've already seen the battles these two have had. That UK Championship and the Champion of Champions, which Robertson took great pleasure in winning against Judd. Best of 11 that night. But a bit of early nerves, it would appear, between them.
Yeah, Trump, he played well against Joe O'Connor. I'm sure he feels he's got to continue, if not raise another level against Robertson. All the memories of the big matches they played. He's only lost 2 frames so far this week, Judd Trump. If he wins tonight, he will be through to his 100th ranking event quarter-final. And the only other players to do that are Sullivan, Higgins, Hendry and Williams. So you're really up among the big hitters. Obviously, they don't play for quarter-finals, they play for trophies, but it just shows just the sheer consistency he's had in recent years. It would actually be his 19th quarter-final from his last 23 ranking events if he were to win tonight.
Yeah, which is an amazing stat, isn't it? Because it's, you know, week in, week out, very difficult to keep being there or thereabouts. We always used to say about Judd that he was quite vulnerable early in the tournament, but clearly that's no longer the case on those stats. And I think he enjoys playing here. You know, it's a venue where your concentration has to be good, especially occasionally on the main table when, you know, the attentions are elsewhere. But the prize is to be here at the weekend, and there's no venue quite like it. Some are very close, but you know, it is a great occasion here. Semi-final and finals weekend at the Tempodrome. Big crowds come along for those days. Atmosphere is absolutely pulsating in this venue. Has he gone far enough there? Because he...
20.
Marcel Eckert looks suspiciously at the blue ball as if maybe the contact wasn't great. Might have stopped the cue ball running far enough to be on the red. It sounded fine, looked okay, but the cue ball did not behave as it was quite meant to. And as a consequence, he couldn't see enough of the potting angle.
Judge on 20.
For NEiL Robertson, as deep a run as he can muster will help get his top 16 place back. If he wins tonight, actually provisionally he'll be back inside the 16 in terms of a crucible seeding. But of course there's a lot of snooker yet to come to determine all of that. Officially he's 20 in the world. Judd Trump doesn't have to worry about any of that. Of course, he's miles in front at number 1.
Yeah, I mean, his all-round game is very strong now. He gets his opponent in quite a lot of trouble with safety. And it isn't the first thing you would think about with Trump, of course, but his safety can be very dangerous, very awkward for his opponents at times. He's forced Robertson into a pot here with awkward queuing. Wow, that's fabulous. That's a beautiful shot. The Brown was definitely making it awkward to get his natural bridging, but you wouldn't see a ball struck any better. That's a good sign for Robertson, not so great for Trump.
Yeah, we know he's scoring well. It was a funny old game yesterday. Hamad Mir, such a terrific potter. And for Robertson to have made 4 centuries and lost would have been a sickener. He won a pretty scratchy decider to come through. But now, of course, he's onto this table, which he hasn't played on yet. Trump's played both his matches on it.
It turned out for the best, that shot, the previous shot, because he looked a little disappointed again with the cue ball that he didn't get the right angle on the black from the previous shot. But when he didn't, it forced him into playing that shot, and he's opened up all the reds now.
17.
Just so many great matches between these two. I mean, the Champion of Champions final 2019 that Robertson won 10-9. There were 8 centuries between them in that match. Of course, Trump beat him first round at the Crucible when Robertson was defending the title 2011.
Can't be a good shot, surely, the one he's played there, because now he's over the top of the red. I can't imagine that he wanted the cue ball precisely where it is. It hasn't stopped him, but every time he plays a shot, there's a slightly surprised look about how the cue ball is reacting. I mean, it seems to be doing everything all right to me, but he's not in complete control of it, I don't think.
33.
Whatever it is, no doubt he will accustom himself to it. The break is continuing, and he would like to think it would be a visit that will take him across the line in frame 1, because he's done a lot of the hard work already.
39.
Judd Trump, of course, was in, just didn't land on that red as intended, then left the long red on for Robertson. Just on the world rankings, of course, he's not in the World Open because he basically got the wrong day for his qualifier. Thought he was playing the day after he actually was. But he will be in those Players' Series events because on the 1-year list he's in the top 8. So you'd say the probability is he'd be at the Crucible, but he wants to nail it down for sure because last year, of course, he had to qualify and didn't come through.
I think that's where the problems arise, isn't it, for him? And that's where you'd like to think that Sean Murphy, who didn't have as many ranking points as he would like, he could have been out of the 16 for the World Championships, although he's still in this week and he is in those Players' Series events, so he's got a chance to get them, whereas Robertson really was in a fairly hopeless place, a bit like Luca Brisselli's. in that he's not going to appear in any of those big events. Because he hasn't had a good season, the Belgian.
$54.
It's kind of landing not quite right on everything here, but the break is continuing, and he got the reds opened up so nicely. He's had a few choices of reds. Amazing,
NEiL
isn't
Robertson, 54.
it? In the end, something had to give, and it always looked top jaw. Didn't think it was going to drop. I think he believed it would.
One.
Well, I guess it could be an easier table, but equally the frame could have been over there. It's a sort of meeting between these two. You feel every moment of every frame is important. So much respect between the two of them, so much history.
Yeah, the ball's not particularly favourable now.
8.
But not impossible that he could win the frame here, however.
9.
Not the right part of the pocket to hit them into, but I don't think the pockets have been overly generous this week. I think they've been pretty standard, but that one just about made it, that red earlier. And now he's
16.
got a problem with the red down the right cushion. And, of course, the one below the black. But I think the red, in a way, down the right cushion is more problematic for Trump, being a left-hander.
17.
I think he'd find it easier to get on the red down the cushion below the black than the other one. Maybe that's the
19.
reason he tried to seemingly cannon it out. And he might have thought that had he missed the cannon, he'd been on the other red anyway. But he got neither one thing nor the other there. So a close opening frame seems likely now.
19. Foul and a miss. NEiL Robertson.
I don't think the in-off is going to change much. I'm pretty sure it'll go back. Don't think it's a free ball either. Although that's what Marcel Lacartte is currently looking at. Just can't see any value in anything but having the balls replaced, especially as he might be able to see the left-hand red full on. Trump, which...
Well, obviously you can hit this side.
Pardon?
You can hit this side, can you? When it's ball in hand. We're talking about free ball, do you?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
if,
It's not a free ball, is it, surely?
do I need to be able to hit both sides of that red ball? Because if...
Let me check it, actually.
I can't imagine it's a free ball. It looks like there's a huge gap to the left-hand red.
Yeah, I will put one there.
If you put the white here,
Yeah.
I mean, it's to me, quite clear. It's not.
No,
It's nowhere near a free ball.
It's not a free ball. I can check it for you, but
I think you can go this way as well.
yeah.
Just double check, just to be...
You want me to double check?
Right. Just double check.
Okay.
In fact, I think from just by the green, he could get to both sides of the right-hand red anyway.
Yeah, and I can
Yeah,
still
you're
go
happy
over
with
way.
that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, we got there anyway, but I couldn't imagine it was going to be a free ball anyhow. And I think, hopefully,
Ollie for the brown, please.
the balls are being replaced. The brown would be the difficult ball. I'm just curious because I saw Marcel looking down the line to that left-hand red before Trump played the shot he did. I don't think he can see full ball contact on that for the 3 strikes rule. It's all quite complicated, all these different things, isn't it?
Well, what I will say is they're in very safe hands here. I think Marcel Eckhart, he's a brilliant referee. And, I mean, he sorted that out actually pretty quickly. I know, obviously, the free ball took a while, but that's because of NEiL Robertson.
I agree, he's a good referee. Does it properly. And we've got contact with the second anyway now, although the red is, well, surely not. I mean, you just couldn't make it up, could you? I mean, after all that, he's potted the red.
Yeah, I mean, that's incredible, actually.
Doesn't want to be straight on this last red. And it's amazing, that shot, you know, I mean, it's tremendously played. Any shot of that kind, so often you'd finish with quite a straight angle. Because, of course, straight means it's very hard to get from red to colour without really forcing the red, and then, of course, the red becomes missable. Any angle whatsoever was so much better for Trump there than he had. But been lucky again.
It sort of feels like we started with a decider, but like I say, with these two, it feels like every frame is really significant. Feels like it's red ball game. We'll see if that's the case or not. But everything else is in the open.
Well, clearly he's got the very easy one cushion escape to roll up to the red, but he doesn't particularly want to play that because you get the feeling that even if he makes contact with the red, he'd be in trouble again on the next shot. But he has no choice, it seems, but to play off that cushion, playing it at pace instead. Well, he's got an easy snooker behind the brown if he wants to, but he might fancy chipping this red along the cushion into the top right pocket instead. The snooker looks to be not so much unmissable, but it's a question of where he leaves the red in getting the snooker behind the brown. It's a pretty safe shot, I think. Advantage Trump, definitely, despite being 12 behind. Well, not advantage trump now because that was very well played by Robertson. Just making sure we've got the red safe there, playing it to the cushion.
The lady there making sure she's not missing any of the action. Of course, there's 3 tables tonight. It feels like a slightly different event, doesn't it? Because we've had as many as 7 going on, but obviously the field's narrowed. There was morning play. And of course, because sadly Ricky Walden had to withdraw, Wu Yizu and Alexander Ursenbach had the whole arena to themselves. Had the main table, nothing else happening.
Well, it looks like he's got to play it with some left-hand side. I mean, down the line of it, it appears that he can't get to any part of the red without some side or playing off cushions. He's playing it left of centre, so he's playing the little swerve. He made a good effort there to keep things safe, but I think that lady will notice that the red is available.
So Robertson has won the battle on the red. Of course, he's already in front in the frame. 18 with the blue, so yellow and green required. Trump had that big fluke, but maybe that in the end it's not made that much difference. But it's already a really interesting match.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of good players still in this event, but, you know, there's a strong argument that whoever wins this match could win the German Masters this year. Such is the quality of these two.
Absolutely, and in between them, they've won 78 professional titles, 54 of them ranking events. So, you know, these are 2 of the most successful players of the last decade.
15.
But something has to give here in the last 16 tonight, and it's going to be first blood to the Australian.
20.
So, yeah, the whole frame really came down to the last red. And as I say, Robertson won that battle and he's won the frame. 5 needed for place in the quarterfinals here at Berlin of the